Do it. Do it. It's cooking there. Jiggers. Anyway.
What's up, Camp Family? It's your hostess with the mostest, Anthony, and we're here for another episode of Hamwi Hot Ones. We have a very special guest today, our boy Tavian, also known as G-swerve. Little did you know, he is the producer, writer, artist behind the theme song of Hot Ones. Welcome, Tavian. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm diabetic. It's nice to see everybody.
Happy to be here?
Absolutely, man. I'm ecstatic.
You ready to do some hot wings?
Let's do it.
How you feel about hot wings?
I love hot wings. It's my thing.
Very nice. I see you brought some drinks. What do you got over there today?
I got some water and I got some almond milk. I'm hoping that's going to help wash this amazingness down.
I said we're experimenting a little bit this week. We're trying out some Kool-Aid jammers.
Yeah, I was going to ask you the story behind
Yeah,
that.
We'll see. They were a 6-pack for $1, so I just thought, why not?
Score.
I wanted to feel like a kid again. All right, you ready to dive into this first one?
Let's do it.
All right, first one's up. We got Tiki Bar.
All right.
Shouldn't be too bad for you.
All right.
So, as you said during your intro, you're diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your diagnosis story.
Oh, man. That's a good story. So, long story short, man, I kept wetting the bed. And one night my mom was just like, no water. So I was dehydrated. And I woke up the next morning and I wet the bed again. She was like, something's wrong. So I just remember being in the bathroom. This has to stay between us and the Camp family. I was in the bathroom, and my dad was in there with me, and he was like, pee in the toilet. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm sick, I can do this, I know what I'm doing. Pee in the toilet, and then he's like, pee on your finger. So I looked up, I'm like, what? I'm 6, I didn't realize how young I was until I got older, so I peed on my finger, and he's like, lick it.
What?
I'm like, what do you mean lick it? He's like, lick it. I'm like, Dad, no. He's like, lick it. So I put the tip of my tongue on it. He was like, does it taste sweet? And I'm like, I don't know, what's pee supposed to taste like? Oh man.
There was no baseline. You hadn't tried it before.
I had no
So you
clue
didn't know if it tasted sweet.
what was going on. So long story short, America, if you're watching this, yes, I peed on my finger. I admit it. And that's how I found out I was diabetic. That's how I found out I was freaking diabetic. Because afterwards, I don't remember how that translated, but either way, we went to the hospital the next day. And they were like, yeah, we need to get you admitted right now. You're diabetic. And I'm just on the table just like, cool, what's that? It sounds like a superpower.
So not a recommended method for those?
No, please don't. Don't do it. Just go to a physician, or not physician, a doctor. If you feel like something's wrong, I don't recommend it at all.
That's by far the best diagnosis story we've had so far on this show.
Traumatizing. Shout out to Pops.
You ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Up next, we've got our beer bacon chipotle. It's got a nice, smells exactly like it.
All right.
No.
Beer bacon chipotle.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's got good flavor.
That's very good.
So, you were diagnosed. You said that was in 2000. What year? 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your first year at camp.
Oh man. So, my first year at camp was a defining moment in my life where I had to choose between being at camp and being home. And I'll be honest, my initial reaction was being home. But nah, man, it was like my first year at camp, I had a great time, but it was my first time away from home.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was just there, and I'm like, you know, I'm out in the wilderness and stuff. Like, I'd never been, like, camping before or anything like that. And, you know, there's, like, bugs everywhere. I was just extremely scared. You know, I remember sitting up on my bunk, and my cabin counselor would say, like, Tavian, you know, you got to lay down. It'd be, like, 3 in the morning. He's like, Tavian, lay down. I'm like, man, I'm homesick.
It makes sense. 6 years old that's young.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I barely remember it. I just remember it was the first really different experience in my life dealing with people who weren't like family members and things of that nature. It was definitely like I was out there with the big dogs. There's people who know what they're doing with their diabetes. I'm still trying to figure out what this word is and if it's a superpower or not. And it was just like, you know, I mean, it was a good time. But it was definitely a defining time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very nice. You ready to move on?
Let's do it.
So this one's my favorite. It's a C-Bus local. It is
local.
I think the flavor. I don't actually know. It just says C-Bus on the bottle.
Okay.
But it's totally my favorite.
Shout out to
Tell
C-Bus.
me what you think.
All right. Mm-hmm.
So you kind of almost touched on it a little bit on that last question, but
it was getting hot.
You've been going to camp for a while.
It was getting a little spicy. It creeped up on me a bit.
And I do remember, as a younger kid at camp, you dealt with a little bit of homesickness, which is everybody does.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about your homesickness at camp and what helped you overcome that.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Homesickness. Yeah, man. So like, wow. I mean, it's in there. Like I'm good with hot stuff, but it's in there. Sorry. Every time I talk and the air hits my tongue, it's like, okay. Homesickness. I just remember, like I said, just being there, and you know, it took me a while to realize that there were other people there like me. It wasn't until maybe my 3rd or 4th year of coming to camp that I had met a friend of mine, LaShawn, actually, and he was kind of like my first diabetic buddy. We went everywhere together. We played in the dirt together. It was a great time, and I think what really helped me the most is just how friendly the camp staff were. You know, because I'm not going to lie, man, I remember crying at times, just being homesick and, you know, missing being at home, but everyone was very attentive. You know, looking back, I never felt like I was completely by myself. It was just like, I don't really know y'all like that, but, you know, it was cool. But I will say, I think what kept me coming back, warm fuzzies. Warm fuzzies was the move. It was like, you know, having a pen pal, and a lot of times people would write me and I wouldn't know who they were. Yeah. So I'd have to like look at them and try to guess based on just who was who. But yeah, man, I just, you know, just to finish it, I remember just crying at times because I wanted to go home, and then now it's like I'm crying because I don't want to go home to work and the real world and life. Yeah. So. You know,
a true camp success story.
Yeah, right? Man. Yeah. It's right here.
That's awesome. You ready to move on?
Let's do it.
All right. This one's our black garlic.
Black garlic. The way you said that, that's a little scary.
This one, I actually think the last one's it hits a little harder.
Black garlic. Okay. All right. Good interesting with the bone. That's not bad.
So you recently went through the CIT program. Summer 2018, right? Yeah. I remember that being quite a fun group. Tell us a little bit about your CIT experience and what that was like for you.
At times, it was chaotic. I'm not gonna lie, man. That's pretty good. So the first day that we went out, I had brought an umbrella. Look, let's rewind. When I came to camp, I bought an umbrella.
Yeah.
I bought an umbrella. And after we took our, picture, we gathered up to go camping, I was like, oh shucks, I forgot my umbrella at the cabin. And I was like, I'm probably not going to need it. Becky was like, are you sure? And I was like, nah, I'm fine. Promise you, about 25 minutes into walking, it starts pouring down rain. I mean, God had a huge beef with us that day because it would not stop. It was like all over the place. One of our people walking with us, like her ankle was hurting and stuff like that. Someone was having a low. I mean, it was literally like war, to be honest with you. But it was one of the greatest times of my life, man. Like, after we got everything settled and it stopped raining, we learned a lot of things, building campfires. I mean, I got some crazy stories, man. I definitely got to know a greater side of the people who I was with. But
there's nothing like the bond from your CIT group. Like, you bond with people at camp because they, experience a lot of the same things as you. But the CIT group that you do the overnight and all that extra stuff with, there's just nothing like that.
I will say this: there were deer. And that was unexpected. I'm not really a woodsy guy, but when it's like 3 a.m. and you hear some twigs breaking and stuff like that, and you don't really know where you at, on the map, there's no real electronics. It's a little scary. I'll save that story for another time.
I say at least it was deer and not like bears. Very nice. All right, you ready to move up?
Let's do it.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm pretty good.
After this one, we hit halfway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I feel like this is going fast.
Yeah, this is Taco Cat.
Oh, Taco Cat. Taco Cat. Mm-hmm.
So you were a CIT 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
After that year, you become full-on staff. Tell us just a little bit about that transition for you and what that was like. Just because you recently went through the program to go from, in the last 3 years, you were a camper, counseling training, and now you are a full-fledged staff member.
I'm trying my best not to chew or swallow the wrong way. It's Taco Cat. It's a cat. Oh, yeah. Staff. Training. CIT, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm trying to remember each part. Okay. What was your question?
Tell her, what's it like transitioning in the last couple of years from being a camper to being a CIT to now being a full member of staff? What was that transition like for you?
Is your breath hot? Like, no, I'm for real. Like,
yeah, your breath is probably
these are halfway. Okay, I'm sorry. Camp.
You're on staff now. Tell us about it.
Staff. It's amazing. Love the people I work with. Been knowing them for a long time. I will say that I think one of the greatest elements of camp is our alumni faculty. Just the fact that the people who we work with every single day have been going to camp since forever.
Yeah.
A lot more freedom as staff, but I feel like going to camp and really developing that. I got a burp. Going to camp and really developing that relationship with your peers. You mature very easily, and you learn to have, a deeper respect just for the fact that there is a place for campers to come and experience what it's like to see other diabetics.
Yeah.
Before camp, I had never met any of the diabetics that had pumps or knew what they were doing. As a camper, man, it was fire. I met my boys. Shout outs to LaShawn and Jaquan and everybody from B4. That was a special year for me. And just all of us together, just growing. By the time we became staff, it was like, yo, we're experts at it. We know what each of our strengths is.
You probably know the schedule better than some of the staff at that point with how long you've been coming to camp.
Most definitely. And the funny thing is, everyone's always like, yeah, man, when you was in my cabin, you would not go to sleep. Da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, whatever. And now that, I deal with campers, I'm like, oh my God, you're me.
As Becky would say, it's karma.
It's instant karma.
Yeah.
It's instant karma. I'm like, ooh, man.
All right, man. You ready? You feeling okay?
Halfway?
Halfway.
Okay. I feel a little something right here.
Feel a little something? All right, next up we got some spicy shark.
Spicy shark?
Yes, it's spicy like a shark. Yeah.
It's not made of shark, is it?
It is not.
Okay, cool.
So, tell us, and everybody listening, your fondest memory of camp.
Fondest memory of camp? Man, I got so many. I'll tell you this one. Fondest memory of camp was probably crying at the final campfire.
Yeah?
Crying at the final campfire.
What year?
Almost every year. No, I think the first year was maybe 2016, I believe. That was the first year that I completely was over my homesickness. And I had really formulated a strong bond with everyone who I was around. And, there was some stuff going on at home that, camp was the getaway that I really needed.
Yeah.
And at the final campfire where they asked if anybody wanted to say anything, I felt obligated to come out and just kind of talk about what was going on.
Yeah.
And then when, other people came back and, were saying their stories and things of that nature, I just realized, like, that shark is really about to make me burp. That's not what I realized. Anyways, what was I saying? Coming back, stories to camp. Oh, crying, that one. So yeah, man, like, I told my story, and then when other people started coming forward and saying, like, yo, you're not alone, I went through that same thing, et cetera, it was really therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
I needed that. I know that everyone from camp kind of comes from a different background, and a lot of the times we're like, oh, well, we're all diabetics and that's what bonds us. But to bond on more than just diabetes, man, it was therapeutic. I remember, this might be a little weird, we was in the bathroom actually, and I'm at a stall, and this random guy I didn't know, he was a camper. He's like 2 stalls over, and we're just doing what we're doing, going to the bathroom, number one. And he's just like, hey man, I was feeling you at the campfire, and I'm like, thanks. I'm gonna finish first. We can talk about this probably outside the bathroom, because he was like real intimate with it too. He's just like, man, I really felt you. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man. So yeah, that was probably my most memorable whatever moment. Just being surrounded by people and connecting with more than just diabetes.
Bond.
That's great.
One of the coolest parts about camp. You come there and you know you're going to bond about diabetes, but to be able to have the opportunity to bond more is...
Yeah, man.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You ready? We're starting to get to the real hot ones.
That last one was interesting.
Yeah.
It was like, it didn't have flavor at first, and then it kicked in, and it was like, you ready?
Yep. All right. So we've got the the butt twister. So, funny name. Hopefully it doesn't make you feel that way. But
you're good. It's 2020, man. It smells interesting. Mm-hmm.
So,
wow.
Being 2020, being a millennial, you're pretty present on social media.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's getting there. It's getting there.
So we did a bit of a deep dive into some pictures of you from camps past, social media, all over. So I want you to tell me the story behind
Jesus. Mary and Joseph.
Tell me the story behind a few pictures. So up first we've got...
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. It'll take a second if you need it. Take a drink.
I'm gonna do it without. Wow. Anthony, I'm not playing. It's getting there. Ha. Story.
Yeah. Tell me about this, this picture.
I'm good. I'm good. That one?
Yeah.
That was actually one of my favorite campers. My spit is hot. I'm so pissed. My spit is hot. That was one of my favorite campers. And I believe that was one of our last days. And he had got me real good. Real good. I was playing dodgeball. And I just remember I caught him slipping. He wasn't looking. And I just remember I cocked it back. I was aiming for his legs. I was like, I know I can't hurt you, but I'm gonna get them legs, man. And I cocked it back. And the funny part is, it looks like I'm about to hit him. He literally moved just in time. It didn't even hit him. And Jeremy in the back there cracked up laughing afterwards. You could ask me about it. But yeah, the words. Right, that's me. So man, 2020. I'm taking hip hop over by storm, man. I've been working really hard this entire year.
Yeah.
Whew. And are you feeling it too? A little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I definitely feel it.
Man. But yeah, man, even though it says haters, the cool part is that there's so many other people who appreciate what I'm doing with my music.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I just thought I'd post that little picture. It's one of my fond memories of camp.
It's a good one. All right, we got another one for you.
Okay.
Here we got your CIT group.
Yay!
Great CIT group. One of my favorites that's come through. But what I really want to talk about is, where did you guys take this picture?
This was in the bathroom.
Yeah,
the new built bathroom.
What was it? Whose idea was it to take a picture?
Our whole group was just weird. I'm gonna say unique. It was kind of a group decision. We was like, in case somebody has to go to the bathroom, we're already here. Yeah, as everybody's smile looks like, we're having fun, but we're in a bathroom. So yeah, you could tell my hat's crooked, something ain't right. Yeah.
Fair enough. And then we got one more for you here.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite of your moments at camp.
Amazing.
But why don't you tell all of us about what's going on here?
Okay, so so I was performing my song "Family Time" for the children. This was at the talent show, I believe, and I just remember getting on stage, and I was like, you know what, I want to be original. So actually, let's rewind. There's a rule about this building. You're not supposed to have shoes on.
Yeah.
So, I already didn't have shoes on. So I was like, when I was walking to the stage, I was just thinking to myself, something's missing. And I looked down and it's like, oh, there's no shoes. And I was like, this is going to be the first time I've performed without shoes. And that's just not a common thing that you hear about.
Yeah.
So I'm on stage and I'm jumping around and I'm rapping and singing and everyone's all hyped up. And, the funny part is that it actually carried with me at this point in time. Like every so often I'll take my shoes off on stage and they think it's the weirdest thing. But, thanks to camp, that's kind of a part of my brand now. But it was a magical experience. My song "Family Time" is actually about mental health. And, it dealt with me going through a dark time in my life and realizing that family comes in different ways, different people.
Yeah.
So being able to share that message with, the younger generations and even the older generations, it was definitely a magical experience. And the blushing was perfect the whole time. It was great.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to...
My nose is running a little bit.
3 more. We're like, the end is in sight.
Yeah, man. That last one caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, this one just sounds scary by name. So this is the chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Is that a snake?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm
I don't like snakes.
Yeah, it's something that goes bump in the night.
Oh, man.
So, we just talked a lot about...
Wow. Oh. Oh, my God. Woo! I got clear the wing. Chupacabra. I flew my mouth. Okay. That is surprising. Wow. I'm trying to be strong. I'm my best to be strong. Woo. Jesus. I mean, those are red. You would think those are like,
All right, so we just talked a little bit. No, I'm not ready yet. All right.
Nah, I can't do it.
You ready? All right. So, everybody at camp knows camp counselor Tavian.
Yeah.
But what people are just starting to get hip to at camp and in the world is G-swerve.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me a little bit about who G-swerve is and where that originated and where that started for you.
G-swerve. G-swerve. That's hot.
Yeah.
That's really hot. What's the level on that one?
That's about 1 million Scoville.
1 million Scoville.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Every time I talk, my tongue touches the top of my mouth. It's bad, man.
Do you want to try a Kool-Aid jammer?
This is so unsanitary. I'm sorry. What was that one called?
Chupacabra.
I want to spit. I bet y'all getting a kick out of this too, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's terrible. Who is it? G-swerve.
Yeah, tell me about him.
I'm G-swerve.
Yeah.
Funny story, man. So the way I got the name, it happened. The way I got the name G-swerve, my last name's that's not my last name. My last name is Gray, and I'm sorry. Rewind. My mouth is on fire right now. Like, I'm not even joking. I couldn't act this out if I wanted to. It's painful. When I was in middle school, I got bullied. I got bullied a lot. And I had this one bully who was consistent about picking on me. And one day we were in the same class, and he just randomly slides this note to me. I'm like, what is this? He's like, read it. I'm like, all right, whatever. He's probably trying to pull a prank on me, so I read it. And it was lyrics. Wait, I'm telling you the wrong story. That's how I became a rapper.
It's all right. I want to know it all. So tell me.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Continue.
She slid it to me, and I read it, and I was like, yo, this is kind of dope. And I was like, I kind of want to write something to it, like randomly, man. It was weird. I was in 7th grade, and I ended up writing this little rap or whatever, and I sent it back to him, and he was, we were like, yo, this is dope. So it was like, we should keep doing this. Like, I promise, it was that awkward.
Yeah.
So we kept writing, and eventually we ended up starting a rap group by 8th grade, and I started calling myself TG. That was my initials, Tavian Gray. And, as 8th grade went along, I'm just like, TG just seemed so artificial, man.
Yeah.
Like, so at the time, swerve was a popular word.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was a popular word. There was like memes for it and everything. And I was like, okay, well, I want to definitely use the word swerve, but I still want something that relates to me on the inside.
Yeah.
Like my culture, my heritage, all that. So the G in G-swerve actually comes from my last name, Gray.
Okay.
So it's G dash, my nose is running. I'm sorry.
You're all right.
Clear my sinuses. Whew. Yeah, so the G in G-swerve comes from my last name, and then swerve is just because it was a popular word. But as I grew into the name, I realized my life was never a straight and narrow path. When you think of a swerve, you kind of think about something that's not straight, man. So I wasn't born with a golden spoon in my mouth or anything like that. I've had my ups and downs, so I kind of grew into it. It's like, swerve, that's me.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a good story. All right, man. 2 left.
Okay, that last one died down a bit, but it's still in the...
Yeah. This is a little bit of a swerve too, right? So it'll die off for you, but then the next wing. All right, man.
What's this one called? If it's called any type of
This
snake.
is called Hydra. It's like a 3-headed dragon type of
Where
thing.
did I come from, vendors? Hydra? What does that even mean?
You ready?
No.
No.
This smells like death. I need to call this death. And it's red. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Holy snap.
All right, you ready for the question, or you need me to give you a sec?
I'm trying to figure out when it's coming up. It hit me for a millisecond.
Just don't think about it, and it won't come up. All right, so you've been doing music for a while. You've been coming to camp for a while.
Thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about your diabetic role models. You know, those people maybe in the industry or in your personal life that live with diabetes that have helped kind of mold your path. You got this.
I'll try.
You got
I'll
this.
try, man. Oh, it's coming up. It's coming up. Jesus! Mary and Joseph. Why did it come up so I can't close my mouth. It gets worse. Oh, it's painful. Oh, this might cure diabetes.
Yeah, I'm not sure it works like that. But
My pancreas feels jump started. I'm sorry if I spit somewhere.
You're all right.
Okay, you know what? I'm going for it.
You gonna try it? Get a little liquid in there.
I can't taste this. Ah.
Hydra. All right. Tell me a little bit about your diabetic role models and inspirations.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Wow. They weren't crapping with that one. How do you enjoy that?
You know, it's, I wouldn't say enjoy is the proper term. I enjoy watching you enjoy them.
This is terrible. Freeway. All right, I got it.
Freeway, yeah. I'll hold it right there.
Okay, I'm gonna try to hear me spit it out. Freeway is one of my favorite rappers of all time. He's just recently started making music and coming public more often about his diabetes. He's kind of one of my biggest inspirations right now. Shout out to Freeway. I love your work, man. Everything you do. Let me see, who else? Let me see. Halle Berry. Amazing actress. She's also diabetic. That's the right one. She's also diabetic. And, you know, just reading articles about her and, you know, her dieting and things of that nature and how she's been able to get her A1C down. That's definitely an inspiration of mine. My mom. I think we're talking about artists, I'm sorry.
No, we're talking about any inspirations.
My mom, she's diabetic. You know, growing up, before she got diabetes, I would always complain to her about, you know, how I hated pricking myself and all that stuff. And, you know, once she got diabetes, she was like, man, I know, I get why you were so upset now, because she started having to take them, and, you know, we get through it together, man. That's That's my idol, really, in life. And, you know, my mentor, I guess this is my last one for now, Dr. Tony Anderson. He's like a musical dad for me. Father from another mother, however you want to word it. You know, he really pushed me musically. And, you know, as far as diabetes, man, he's always motivating me to get mine together. He always says, like, if you're not taking care of yourself, nobody else will, especially when it comes to your diabetes. You know, you have diabetes doesn't have you. And I carry that with me every day. So
That's awesome. That's the best attitude.
Oh,
All right, man.
I try.
So,
I really do.
You're doing great. We are to our last and final wing.
What was that last one? Which bottle?
So this last one is called Why. And very appropriately it says, why did they make this? Why am I eating this? Why am I talking to myself?
I'm literally about to put that in a song.
Oh, yeah. So, I feel like you're probably feeling this right now, but why are we doing this? But I'm going to hit it a little bit with the last dab. If you'd like to partake.
That's a big dab, man.
Yeah, that was accidental. I did not mean to pour that big of a dab.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it smells great, doesn't it?
That doesn't even smell like food. That smells like something you put in your car, like that you should not eat.
I'm gonna just smudge it. And of course, it just drips.
Oh, yeah.
My
All right.
just
We've made it. You've made it to stop number 10.
angry Irishman.
You ready to a toast to Tavian / G-swerve
Yeah. I messed that all up.
as we embark on this journey?
Toast.
Cheers.
How am I gonna eat this?
With regret. That's how.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. It's cooking there. Jiggers. I'm not eating the rest. I'm not eating the rest. Wow.
All right, for our last question,
Why?
tell us.
I can't hear you. This is not looking good for my image.
All right,
That's much too much of it.
too much. Tell us what's coming next. What's next in the world for G-swerve?
How are you just cool over there?
I feel the burn.
Nah, man. Like,
I feel the burn.
I'm ready for the It's deep.
That's a deep burn.
It tastes disgusting with that almond milk. What in the world?
All right, so what does 2020 have to look forward out of G-swerve?
Do you know a teaspoon of this has 3 grams of carbs in it?
I do.
Say it again.
What does 2020 in the future have looking forward for G-swerve?
2020.
What's coming out next? What projects are you working on?
Okay. Projects. 2020. My mouth is on fire.
We're almost there.
And then there's a piece stuck in my tooth that still has sauce on it. So every time I say something that has a T or an L, it hits the sauce. I'm trying not to gross people out. I'm sorry. I gotta get that out. All right. I'll stop being dramatic. But it's hot. 2020. New music coming soon. Always. I've been working very closely with the Paragon Project. For those who don't know, the Paragon Project is a group of students from the Fort Hays campus, Fort Hays High School, who got together to make music dealing with social justice issues in the community. We're coming out with a 4th album, and it's going to be a good one. So like I say about it, look out for it. It's called The Paragon Project, Volume 4.
That's what's up. So you made it. 10 wings, 10 questions. You survived. Before we go, look at that camera, or that camera. Tell the people what's going on. Tell them where they can follow you. Send us off.
You see this pickle? Oh. Gotta put my hat on for this one. Make sure everybody remembers. What's going on, y'all? I'm still diabetic, even after these wings. My name is Tavian Gray. What was I gonna say? Okay, what was your question?
Look at that camera. Tell us what's going on. Sign us off. Tell us where the people can follow you.
Got it. My name is Tavian Gray, aka G-swerve. You can follow me on Instagram at swerve_the realist, Facebook at Tavian Gray, and/or G-swerve. That's G-SWEREVE. Almost forgot for a second. I got new projects coming out all the time, new music. I'm down to earth, man. Like, hit me up in the DMs, comments, anything like that. Any collaborations. I want to give a big shout outs to Camp Hamwi and Anthony and all the cast behind shooting this. Big shout outs to the Paragon Project. Big shout outs to Freeway. I would love to collaborate with you. Shout outs to God for keeping me through these wings, because I'm really hot right now. Like, I want to take my shirt off. I'm not kidding. It's hot. So if you come on this show, it's hot. But thank you for having me, man, and it's been a blast.
Absolutely. And don't forget, camp registration is open. If you want more information or the link to register for camp, you can check it out at diabetesohio.org.
Get your butts in there and get in there. Come to camp. Come to camp. Okay, diabetesohio.org. You heard it here first, or not first, hopefully not. Okay, come to camp. We want to see you.
Peace.
We're out.